Hey friends, it's Missy again. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm back with my final layout as the guest designer for December for SpiegelMom Scraps. Don't forget to use that code if you're going to do some shopping over on the website. So I'm going to start this layout with 4 different sequin sets: Peachy Keeney, Painted Gardens, On Point, and Lisa's Starry Night. And I'm going to combine a lot of these colors to create a really fun wintry page. And I'm going to start with a cut file. This is a Paige Evans cut file. It's called Starflake, and I love it because it's a snowflake inside of a star. And I totally forgot that I had these pictures. This is me on our honeymoon back in 2000 in Lake Tahoe. I've been stressing about winter pictures because I don't have a lot of winter pictures to scrap for this season, and I forgot that I have a bunch of snow pictures back in our old photo albums back in the day when we took pictures with regular cameras and regular film and you didn't know what you got until you got them developed. I know you guys remember those cameras, right? Well, I went through my photo albums and found some snowy pictures. I was really excited to create another winter page with actual snow in the picture. So yeah, I was in Lake Tahoe, so yeah, it was really pretty. So I've got this Starflake cut on white cardstock, and I just traced around the edges on another sheet of white cardstock, and I'm going to offset it to the left, and I made it really big, and I'm going to just use some clear gesso here to smudge around where the star is going to go because I want to do a little bit of mixed media on the background. So these are the Prima oil pastels. I like to use them from time to time just to change things up, and so I'm just going to use my fingers here and a little bit of water. I'm going to draw around the edges of the star and sort of just smudge. I just want this kind of a hazy, faded, smudgy color coming out from behind the edges of the snowflake. Now, this layout is going to be very white, which is rare for me. So I want to have the very subtle things going on in the background because I was so excited about having a snow picture that I wanted this layout to be very white and snowy, and I like how it turns out. It's different for me, but it's been fun creating different things this season, going out of my comfort zone and making things that are wintry instead of summery. So I like how it winds up looking. So I'm just going to do some blue at the top, some pink over on the right, and then I'm going to go with a little bit of silver or gray down at the bottom because those are the 3 main colors of the sequins that I'm going to use. And these colors just remind me of winter, and I don't even know why. I don't use any gold on this page. I know that's crazy because I've been going gold crazy lately, but I do use some silver, and I think it goes well with these colors. So I like how this is looking. It's very subtle, but you can definitely see how the star pops off the background. But I do want to do a little bit more, so I pulled out some shimmers, and I'm just going to do a little bit of packaging around the areas, and I try to stick with the color blocking idea of doing blue in one section, pink in one section, and gray or silver in the bottom section. I mean, a lot of times I like to mix and match the colors around, but sometimes I like to do something different, and so this is one of those times. And I used Snow Way Man vibes at the top. This is Cotton Candy Spritz over on the right. Just a little bit of light pink, and then I'm going to use, what is that? Oh, that's the gelatos. I didn't have any gray Prima oil pastels, so I used gelatos, and then I just kind of scribbled it on the plastic, watered it down, and used that over on the bottom. So gelatos and pastels are usable in a couple different ways. You can definitely use them with packaging. So now I'm going to do some splattering here, and I'm going to use the same colors that I used with the packaging technique. This is a shimmers called A Shade of Gray, and it's the colorings. So what I'm going to do is, I decided since some of the blue sequins that I'm going to use are more of a darker royal blue, I wanted to add that color in a little bit up at the top, since what I've got going on now is more of a softer blue. And you'll see when I start using the sequins here in a little bit that it's more of a darker blue. So I did want to add that shade up a little bit up at the top. And again, that's just the oil pastel. I scribbled down, added some water to it, and voila, you've got watercolor. Okay, so this is where the star is going to go, and I'm going to add a little bit of tissue paper behind my picture just to add a little bit of a border. And in this case, it kind of just looks like a snowy, frosty border, even though I do it on every page. I'm going to lightly glue it down because I'm going to stitch around the edges here in just a second with some silver metallic thread. And that means that I'm not going to add anything underneath the picture as far as foam goes because I just stitched right through the corner of it. And I like how it looks tucked in there. And that's just some silver thread, and I love how that looks. Now here's what I'm going to do with the sequins. I'm going to dump a lot of them out in those 4 sets that I showed you. And I'm going to basically use the sequins to fill in all of these open cutouts. And this does take me a while, but it's very easy to do. Yeah, I just kind of went around and used blue at every little section, and then I went around with another color, and I'm going to see what I'm going to use. I'm going to use the dark blue, I'm going to use the pink, a little bit of purple, and then some silver or gray. And I got this idea. Paige Evans just did a layout recently where she used a cut file of a giant snowflake, and she used sequins to cover the entire thing, and then she hand stitched through it, and I thought it was just gorgeous. And so I thought I would kind of do a take on that and a little bit different and fill in this cut file. And there's a progress photo. You can see how cool, look how shimmery they are. I love this. I think it's so cool. I don't hand stitch through this, but I do get crazy and run my sewing machine over these sequins. The first time I did it, they weren't quite dry, and so you can guess what happened. Yeah, I was like, what were you thinking? But the next day, when everything was dry, it worked great. And so I did a straight stitch through each of the main long lines. Oh, look how pretty. I'm done. I was so happy with how this turned out. It's so sparkly. I love it. Highly recommend that. If you have some extra time. It didn't take too long, but it, obviously you have to glue each one down by themselves. So it's not something that you're going to do super fast, but I think it turned out really, really pretty. So now, okay, now my picture can't move. I stitched through it, and so I'm having to work around where it is. And I've got some of the darker blue thread and some silver over on the left. And I'm just kind of experimenting here. I wind up adding more things in here as I go. And I wish I would not have done this right here. I went ahead and glued that down. Not good. This is the next day. Now I want to layer stuff under it, and I can't because I've glued it down, and I'm thinking, why did I do that? I wasn't ready for that. So I pulled out some things from a hip kit, some crepe paper, Snow and Cocoa, some Pink Fresh Studio, just random things. Basically, I was looking for anything that had that blue and pink color in it because that's a different combination. I wound up taking my little Cricut spatula tool and prying up the glue so I can stick stuff under there because, yeah. And so that basically hides all of the thread that I put down there originally, but that's okay because I just add some more. And I toyed with the idea of using some snowflakes since, there's a bunch of snow in my picture, but I actually wind up not using any snowflakes. I do get to use those mountains though. I've been looking at those mountains for a while thinking I have 0 pictures to use for a snowy mountain. But guess what? I found some, and so yay. I was like, yes, I'm using snowy mountains on a layout. Who'd have thunk it? And it's the perfect color. It's the perfect pink. I've got a little bit of that blue that I cut from a Project Life card that was from a hip kit. And then there's a couple of different die cuts from the Snow and Cocoa that match. And then look here, there are some royal blue stars, puffy sticker stars from Pink Fresh Studio. They matched, had to use them. These are from a hip kit from last year, and they're silver glitter thickers. They're awesome because they're foam and they stick. I'm just going to put the word Tahoe up at the top. And then these are some of the crepe paper. I think these were from Oasis, these alpha stamps. And I'm just going to stamp the word lake, and that's a silver cheapy ink pad that I got from the little dollar section at Michael's. It works just fine. I don't really have a lot of expensive ink pads. Most of my ink pads are the cheapy ones. I decided to add a little bit more of a pink down at the bottom here, so I'm just going to water down, well, not water down, but spray some shimmers and just use my brush to kind of splatter some and smudge some around. These are from my stash, some of these little Tim Holtz word phrase stickers. And that one says, "Adventure awaits you." I wish I would have taken more pictures on my honeymoon, but I just didn't think about it. I mean, we took some pictures, but I wish I would have taken more. And this was before selfies happened, so, you know, it was just my husband and me. And so I would take a picture of him, and then he would take a picture of me. And so a lot of our pictures are not even of us together. But, yeah. Picture taking sure has changed over the last 17 years, that's for sure. I'm using my silver pen to write in my journaling, and then I add the date, and that is it. I love how this turned out. I think it's very white. It looks very snowy, but the picture matches the sequins, and I love how it turned out. It's very light, and the sequins are very shimmery and sparkly, and it was fun to make. I was excited to make a snowy type layout. There you can see where I stitched through the sequins. So word of advice, if you're going to stitch through sequins, wait until the glue is super duper dry, because yeah, they will pop up and they will stick to your needle, but it worked out okay. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I've had a great time being the guest designer, so thank you to you guys over at SpiegelMom Scraps for having me. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.